Hey everybody, what's up? This is Ryan Martin and welcome to episode 1 of the Revive Yourself podcast.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Have you got a health issue that just won't go away no matter what you try? Then welcome to the Revive Yourself podcast, where we reveal the secrets to long-lasting health by getting to the root cause of problems that no one else is talking about. So you can have more energy, clear skin, healthier hair, a leaner physique, more confidence, and most importantly, do the things you love and live the life you deserve. Here's your host, Ryan Martin.
Hey guys, so this is Jeremy where I'm going to be introducing the guest to the show, but today's guest is going to be myself and just going to give you a bit more of an insight into me, really, my background, why I got into what I do, going through my health struggles and what the podcast is going to be about and why I'm doing it. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, obviously my name's Ryan Martin and I'm living in London, England. So my journey into the world of health and helping heal people with all different kinds of conditions, from anything from diabetes to chronic gut issues. I deal with a lot of people with chronic gut issues, bloating, gas, IBS, Crohn's disease, celiac, people with skin issues. I deal with a lot of people. Anyway, my journey into that, well, I never actually intended to become a nutritional therapist and a holistic health coach. So back when I was younger, I always dreamed of playing professional sport. I was always very good at rugby and football particularly, and we had a very good team of rugby players in my club, so I got really into playing rugby. Went to a boarding school from ages of 16 to 18 where we had the keys to the sports hall, and literally my passion and my aim was to become a professional rugby player. And getting around the age of 18, I started to develop quite bad acne on my face, and then it started to really get bad on my chest and back. So even back then I was starting to use some really strong medication and some creams on my skin. And I remember at 18 years old, I went to a university called Hartpury University, which was basically, it's a new Loughborough when it comes to rugby. It's a breeding camp for professional rugby players. And in the news recently, the boys from Hartpury are actually providing the training players for England rugby. So it was a place that was at the elite level of sport, university level. We used to play all the big universities, beat them. When I was there, it was the start of it, but we still had some really good players. And I remember going there with the sole aim of trying to become a professional rugby player. But I remember one of the first days I was there, I started to develop cysts in my groin. I remember going there with a bag full of medication and skin creams. One was it was almost a bit short of a steroid cream for my skin. It used to dry my skin out. And I used to think, and I also went to university as well to take my degree in sports science. And going into all the lectures, I used to think, I knew what I was doing, what I was eating, to try and become a professional athlete, good nutrition, and bearing in mind we were training 2 or 3 times a day. We was all in pretty good shape, but still didn't feel great. I was always still quite tired. Everyone was quite bloated, and just throughout the years, my skin got worse and worse to the point of that I couldn't even walk anymore. So I used to get these cysts down just below my back and just like really towards my bum area, and they'd come and they'd come and they'd burst and they'd go and I'd get on pro rugby again. And I managed all this just to grin and bear it through about 2-3 years of this before I actually went and got seen for this. I remember taking Roaccutane for my skin, which I would never have done now if I knew what I mean. So once again, I'm not a medical doctor, so can't give you medical advice, but if it was me, I wouldn't take it. It's a vitamin A derivative, and it's known to poison the liver, amongst other things. But I remember getting some of that at around 20 years of age. No, actually might have even been a little bit after that, about 21, 22. But I remember my sister used to come and go. My acne on my chest and back was so bad that I never used to take my shirt off in changing room with other boys. I never used to want to take it off if I ever met a girl or his girlfriend. To be fair, I had such low confidence I never even went to talk to girls because I was wondering, if anything ever got to that stage, I wouldn't want to take my shirt off and no one would be with me because I look like a monster. Even throughout this, I managed to get I managed to go and play for Nottingham Rugby, which was now National 1, then the Championship with their academy and their second team. Was got into their training squad for the Championship, and a little bit later on, I went and played rugby in Canterbury, in New Zealand, with the Crusaders Academy, and went and played over there. It was very, very high standard rugby. But throughout all of it, I kept getting these reoccurring cysts on my bum and in my groin area. And I couldn't work out for the life of me what it was. And by this time, I was 22 years old, I was on quite a high dose of Roaccutane, and it had mainly stopped a lot of the acne coming up, but what I'd unfortunately developed by that time was keloid scarring. Now, what I didn't tell you was around the age of 18, my best friend died in a car crash, and this pushed my body into what I now know as a chemical, emotional, and physical response, which led to my acne overhealing, and it created keloid scarring. So if any of you don't know what keloid scarring, you can look it up, but it's basically where your scar heals into almost a little rubbery spot. And I had these all over my chest and back, and never even want to take my shirt off in front of people because it was just something I didn't want to do. I was really embarrassed. I wouldn't take it off in the showers. I wouldn't go in the beach swimming, and things just got worse. And I remember coming towards the end of my time playing rugby out in New Zealand, and these cysts in my groin, they got to such a point where I couldn't even wear pants anymore because it was hurting me. It was hurting me to walk around, and it stopped me from playing. And when I come back, and I went and spent a few more months in Edinburgh to play rugby in Edinburgh. After that, I just couldn't play anymore. It was my body just had enough. And I remember coming back, and the cyst not only stopped me from playing, but then I started to feel really, really ill. So I went to see a dermatologist who prescribed for me some steroids to get rid of my acne and to maybe help with my skin and the cysts that were coming up. And who's a dermatologist, right? He's paying about £250 an hour, so I went along with it. So I just got to turn this beeping off. It's telling me the washing machine is done. The washing's done. So that's done. And I was going to see his dermatologist, paying him £250 an hour, and not only did he prescribe steroids for my acne, he also provided told me to have steroid injections into my keloid scars. Now, I had about 50, I'd say, or more keloid scars. So every Monday I used to go down and get to this dermatologist and get 50 or so injections into my keloid scars, and it was excruciating. And this happened for a good 6 months. And it would put these injections into my skin, and the itching was, I can't even describe it to you. It was like I wanted to rip my skin off. It was so bad. But I just wanted anything to get rid of these keloid scars. It was making me cry. I didn't want to go out with my friends. It got to the point where I just felt like a monster. I felt I was so embarrassed I wouldn't take my shirt off in the pool. I couldn't do things I loved anymore. I couldn't play the sport I wanted. The cysts wouldn't go away. The steroids actually got rid of the cysts, but as soon as I come off them, the cysts come back, and the cyst actually got to such a point, such an extent that I couldn't even walk anymore. I remember one point I had such a bad cyst on my lower back near the crack of my bum that I was just sitting down in pain, absolutely crying my eyes out because I didn't know what to do. And I was thinking, this is the way life's going to be. What's the point? I've been to see all the doctors, all the specialists. None of them knew what to do. So then the only other option was surgery. So I went to surgery and they cut it out, cyst out. And everything was okay for a little while. Give it about 2 months, it healed up. And then they came back. And I was just devastated, absolutely devastated. So what happened again? Well, went back in for some more surgery and I had the cyst cut out again. Unfortunately, in the second surgery, what happened to me was my immune system was so low and had been completely destroyed by all the drugs and medication and the anaesthetic, which had completely wiped out. Now it wiped out my gut flora and all my good bacteria, that I contracted thrush of the mouth, where I couldn't even eat anything. Anything touching the roof of my mouth felt like someone was running a knife through it. And from this, I also had crippling gut issues. Now, I now know massive amounts of candida, and a complete gut dysbiosis where I had overrunning of bad bacteria in my gut compared to good bacteria, but it just meant I couldn't digest food. I couldn't eat anything I wanted. I was incredibly tired. Come back from the operations on loads of drugs, cocodamol, sitting in my mum's couch. On my mum's couch from 18, I was 17 to 22. I've been 5 years, and no one had been able to get rid of this. And then on top of all that, I contracted glandular fever, which then morphed into another. So I contracted Epstein-Barr virus, which then morphed into glandular fever. And not only was I ill, I couldn't eat anything. Even though I couldn't eat anything, I was still overweight from the steroids. I ballooned from about 85 kg to 95 kg. I was massively depressed. I had spots everywhere. My skin was terrible. I couldn't eat anything I wanted. I was just in a point where I was like, this is what it's going to be like. What's the point of being around? I can't do anything I like. I can't enjoy my life. I didn't know where to turn, and I just broke down in the flood of tears, basically. And I was literally saying to my mum, I'd never been like this before, because I was always someone who loved life, had loads of friends, been really social. I played loads of sport, never ever contemplated suicide in my life, and even at that point I never really was going to kill myself, but I felt like, what is the point? If this is going to be like, there's no point of being here, and all the doctors, no one can help me, and I was 22 at the time. I was thinking, this is a long road ahead of me, and I remember going to bed that night thinking, well, what can I do? I mean, excruciating pain again, from the cysts and the acne. I can't eat anything. What can I do? Now, around that time, as luck would have it now, David Haye, who's a lot of you might know, who's a heavyweight boxer, one of my favourite boxers at the time, was just about to fight Nikolai Valuov, who was a Russian giant, who's a heavyweight. And on Sky Sports, they had a thing called Behind the Ropes, where they showed and documented all the boxers' training and what they do, what they'd eat, etc. And David Haye's trainer at the time was a nutritionist, was a guy called Ruben Tabares. And I remember listening to the show, and everything Ruben was saying, instead of having, because remember, I've been a professional athlete and I've been used to people having to eat pasta and chicken and just having all these protein shakes, energy bars, protein bars, supplements from what I now know are companies I'd never buy from again. And Ruben instead was talking about that. He was talking about organic foods, therapeutic supplements, wild-crafted foods. He was talking about organic juices. He was talking about probiotics, all these things I'd never even heard of before, and it completely opened my eyes. And I was thinking, God, this guy is talking a different game. What? And he's talking about body being toxic, etc. And I was just like, oh my God, I need to talk to this guy. So I looked him up, and within an hour, I'd sent a message to the gym he was working at, and within half an hour, I actually had him on the phone. And I couldn't believe it. I remember when he called me up, I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. We scheduled a meeting for the following day down in London. I remember going there really in pain, walking to him and meeting him, and he could tell where I was and how low I was. And I can tell you what, for the next hour and a half, this guy opened my eyes into a world I didn't even know existed, into a world of superfoods, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, nutrition at a level of cellular nutrition, the most detailed level of nutrition you could get. And he told me how toxic I was. He prodded my body around, to my tongue, did this, did that, and he said, "Yeah, don't worry." The most reassuring words that he said to me was, "Don't worry, Ryan. I've been where you are now, and I know it can seem like a long way back, but trust me, you can get there. But you have to trust me, and you have to open your mind to everything that I say, and meet with no resistance." Now, bearing in mind, this is a guy. I'm a guy who, when I was younger, lived on ham sandwiches and cups of tea. Just thought about calories as food, something to fuel you, and just thought about things as fat and protein and carbohydrates. Even though nutrition, it was all just fat, protein, carbohydrates. Food is fuel, in the most basic terms. When Ruben was talking to me, I was like, "Oh my God, I need to know more about what he's talking about." And from that day forward, which was now 9 years ago, I've been on a journey into health and healing that has been quite remarkable. Ruben sent me off to a guy to get tested, biological doctor, and he found viruses in me. It's about 5 or 6 viruses in me, pathogens, bacteria, high level of mercury toxicity, candida, very high level candida. Even though candida, you need candida to survive. I know that now. It's very useful to you, but I was overrun with it. So I went on a diet to cleanse my system, to reduce my toxicity, introduce all these new superfoods into me, probiotics to heal and rejuvenate my gut. And within 3 months, I had never felt so good. Actually, within 6 months was the complete, but within 3, I was feeling like I'd never done before. My skin had cleared up, basically almost completely cleared up. I had more energy, and it was just remarkable. I dropped weight, and within 6 months, I was a completely different person. People just couldn't believe the difference, not just how I looked, but how I felt. And from then on, I knew that this became my passion. I knew that I had to study far and wide and to learn more and more about nutrition, about holistic health and alternative medicine. And I knew that I needed to get this message out to the world, because people were just being fed lies by the mainstream media and propaganda, and even the degree that I don't listen now when people say, "What your qualification? What you got?" Yeah, I've got a degree in nutrition. I've got a degree in sports science, but I don't use it. Everything I use with my clients is through the 9 years of independent research that I've got, because you have to remember, nowadays every scientist is basically a prostitute to a pharmaceutical company. So these are the things I want to go with you guys in my podcast. I'm going to share with you all the different ways to heal naturally, natural health. So for the last 9 years, I've sobered some of the best in the business. I've travelled to California, to Spain, travelled to Thailand, India. I've been around, obviously, different parts of America, spoke to the best doctors, interviewed the best doctors, and this is what this podcast is about. It's about getting the best alternative doctors, alternative medicine practitioners. It's about getting the best people in the world on this show to teach you, or to tell you their ideas about ways to heal the body and natural health. None of it will be prescriptions, obviously, because we can't prescribe, we can't mass prescribe. But it'll be all the different methods that you can use to heal yourself. And it's the way I now deal with my clients. It's through a complete holistic approach. I've developed the healing health paradigm, and I've got a 21-day reset program for people who just want to get healthy, haven't been feeling great, just want to reset themselves. And I've got a 16-week program, which is my total gut revival program, and I've also got a 16-week total body cleanse program for cleaning people out And then we both go strategically through a healing health paradigm that I've produced to take you from basically struggling in life. It's not basic about it, but taking you from struggling, being somewhere, having low energy, having no drive, having terrible skin, bad physique, no movement, to the complete opposite, where you're full of confidence, where you love your physique, you can move, you've got great skin, great hair, people paying you compliments all the time, and you can live the life you deserve. Now, it's very funny because it's not really funny, I'd say, but it's quite the journey. When you go through this, and for the people I talk to, you're going to see I'm very, very passionate about this, and this is what I want to do. I really want to get this message out to the world, because today more and more people are fatter than ever, they're sicker than ever, and there are more diseases than ever. And there are these diseases that weren't even about when you look at the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s for statistics on disease. A lot of these things that are around were not even there, or if they were in very small, minute amounts. Nowadays, when you look at cancer, now it's 1 in 2, 1 in 3. It's got ridiculous. And these diseases, they're not bad luck. These diseases are from what you're doing. These diseases are from what you're eating, what you're consuming, what you're thinking, at a cellular level. This is why things like, we go into things like genetic, but people always say, oh, it's the gene, genetics. This is why there's another thing out these days, the research shows it's called epigenetics. Now, what this means is, yes, you might have the gene to get cancer, but if you live in a certain way, you won't get it. It's the environment. And this is what happened. The microbe, you used to say the germ is important. Well, the germ is nothing. The terrain is everything. And the terrain is your body, your internal health, how you live, how your detoxification pathways are working, what you're eating, what water you're drinking, what you're cooking your food in, what you're putting on your skin, what fragrances you're using. Are you around electromagnetic frequencies a lot? Have you got volatile organic compounds in your bedroom? Are they off-gassing? What plants have you got in your room? It goes deep, and these are all things we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about the body, how to heal it, and how to just live a nice, healthy, natural, long-lasting life, free from pain and disease. Because who wants to grow old, right? What's the point of having a longer life expectancy if you're not going to be living in a way that you can have fun? Who wants to just be sitting there ill, tired, depressed, can't move, taking pills, and all these pills are hugely toxic to your system. I mean, a lot of the things I'll be saying, they might sound controversial to you, but once you dig deep and you go into them, you'll realise it's not controversial at all. It's just the way it is. And as a health coach, most people in my industry, we've all scratched our own itch, and we've all got into it to solve our own problem. I mean, I used to believe that's fine. Eat what you want. You take a pill, get rid of it. It's fine. And now I know that pills just mask symptoms. The problem doesn't go away. And if the symptom goes away, maybe you've got spots and they go away, it will crop up somewhere else. And generally, what happens is the weakest point of your body is where something will come out. So for me, it was my skin and then my gut. So I got problems there. For other people, it could be heart disease, or it could be dementia, or it could be diabetes. Your body's weakest points are where your problems will come out. And just want to let you know, your body has got an innate ability to heal itself. Given the right circumstances, your body will heal. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal, but just like your scabs will heal up, your body will heal. It just has to be given the right environment and the right things internally, and it's capable of miraculous results. This is why going and getting your breast cut off, if you feel that you've got the breast cancer gene, it's just absurd. And we'll be talking to people about it. We'll be going into vaccines. We'll be going into cancer. We'll be going into parasites. Parasites are one of the most untalked about. Isn't that even a word? I don't even know if it is untalked. They're one of the they're one of the things that affect our health in such a large way. 90 to 95% of the world population has a parasitic or fungal infection, and these are things, you got macro parasites that you can see, and you've got micro parasitic organisms that you can't see, but these are things that once they run rife in your body, they will take over, and if you're not given, if you're not living in what Mother Nature deems as an appropriate way, they'll try and put you into the ground and bury you. These parasites are very clever. They can infiltrate your nervous system. They can infiltrate your thoughts. They can take over. They can make you crave foods because they want to have them rather than you. Because they want to have these foods. So it's a lot of these times when you're getting cravings, I just want you to know this is not you. A lot of these times it's these parasites, and these are all things that we're going to dig deep into. I've got we have the best doctors, alternative doctors in the world, holistic health practitioners, nutritionists, etc., digging into everything from autism to diabetes to parasites to cancer to Alzheimer's, to movement, and to living a successful life. So I hope you're ready for the journey, guys, because my journey to health and happiness has been a remarkable one. I've met some great people on the way, done some incredible research, and I just want you to go out there and I just want to say to you, don't take everything that we say on this show as gospel. I don't want you to. It's the whole point of it. I want you to go out there and research for yourself. But if you do want results and you haven't been getting results from any of these people, just know, head on over to reviveyourself.co and download my free healing health paradigm, which is going to give you a great recipe to healing yourself, especially if you've got gut issues. Someone who's got gut issues, but because the gut is so important for your health. It's where 80% of the immune system lies. It's called your abdominal brain. All health begins in the gut. All disease begins in the gut. And if your gut health isn't right, then you're just setting yourself up for problems down the road. And you know what? Even if it's not for you, it's going to be for your family. It's going to be for your husband or your wife or your kids or your mum or your dad, people you love. This show is going to aim to bring as much awesome information to you as possible. All the things, all the secrets that mainstream media is not telling you, because let's be honest, guys, pharmaceutical companies make drugs. It's how they make their money. And if you're healthy and you're not sick, they don't make money, right? They don't make money out of sick people. At the end of the day, it's capitalism, and it's a business, and they're there to sell their product. And by telling you how to live healthily, they're not going to be selling much of their product. And we all know prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So this is what I'm aiming to do to you guys, to give you all the information, not only to heal certain things, or to get your body into a state where you're going to be able to, if you've got any ailments or illnesses, etc., you'll be able to go away and research and do your own stuff, or and to help yourself heal and get better from those things. I'm also going to give you all the things you can be doing daily so you don't ever get to a situation where you're protecting yourself from these things. And we're going to be going into everything, as I said before, and into the water, and into food, and into farming. We are going to cover everything. Raw milk, vaccines. I've probably gone through a few of these things already. So, buckle in, guys. It's going to be a hell of a journey. I can't wait to get this out to you guys. I've got some great interviews coming up. Already I've got some with Dr. David Kennedy, who's an expert on fluoride. It's another one about your toothpaste. Fluoride's good for you, right? It's in your toothpaste. It's got to be good for you. Well, you're going to find out. Got one with Karen Thomas, who has healed her son's autism naturally. Got one with Dr. Thomas Levy, who's going to be talking all about vitamin C. And I've got one coming up. Well, I've got two with Dr. John Bergman. I've got one with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, who's a world leading authority on vaccines, and many, many more to come, guys. So, as I said before, can't wait to get this out to you guys. It's been rambling on for 30 minutes there. This is my first podcast, so if it haven't come across that well, I do apologise. But I'm guessing I'm going to get better and better at this as we go along. Well, I hope to anyway. So, that's it from me, guys. I hope you got something from my story there. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Probably missed some stuff out, because to be honest with you, it's all a bit of a blur now. I know I can remember being really ill and struggling and going through those pains, but I'm in such a different place now. Generally, I can remember what it's like. I remember what it's like to know and to think that there's no way out, and no one knows what you're going through. But just want to tell you guys, that's one thing I do remember. And although I can't remember the exact sequence of events I went through because I was in such just to say, a drugged up state, everything was going on. I was on so much medication. I pretty much got it all nailed down. But one thing I do know is I do remember what it was like to feel like there's no way out. And I'm going to tell you there is a way out if you're going through something. And even if you just want to feel better, feel healthier, this is going to be a great place for you to learn how to do that. So let's get on with it, guys. Hope you enjoy the journey. I was going to say, I know you're going to enjoy the show. You're going to get a lot of information out of it. And as I said before, if you want to feel better, feel healthy, and feel happy, then stay tuned. We're going to dig deep, and it's going to be great. So that's the first show done, guys, and I'll see you for show 2. So guys, that was episode 1 of the Revive Yourself podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't waffle on too long, and I hope you learned something along the way. Episode 2 coming up is going to be with Dr. John Bergman, and we go into a hell of a lot of different topics, including vaccinations. So be sure to look out for that one. It's going to be a really good interview. And as always, if you are struggling with any health issues, you can jump on over to www.reviveyourself.co and download your free copy of the Healing Health Paradigm. And if you'd like to discuss how we could help you with your issues, then just click on the contact page, send us a message, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay guys, so that was episode 1. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll speak to you soon.
If you're struggling with gut issues, such as gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, heartburn, and want to finally be able to eat the foods you love without the crippling after effects, then don't forget to head over to reviveyourself.co and pick up your free copy of the Healing Health Paradigm today.